In this video, we're going to be reviewing Overcoming the Archon through Alchemy by John Crider. This is one of my favorite books. It is a beautiful alchemical gem waiting to be discovered. It has everything that you need and then some to get started, to advance, and then excel with alchemy, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I would show you what the book looks like, but last time I flew home from Virginia to California, I ended up giving my copy to a man that I sat next to, and we really kicked it off and started talking about magic and alchemy, etc. So this book is beautifully written, like every single book by John Crider that I've read, and I've read multiple. It has beautiful illustrations. It's easy to understand. I don't think I saw one typo in the entire book, which is kind of a rarity nowadays, especially with more modern books. A lot of the books on the market nowadays, at least on Amazon in my opinion, and I'm not trying to sound judgmental, but many of them are just quickly put together. People seem to just want to throw stuff out there to generate money, and the content lacks integrity. So this book teaches you something that I've been teaching for years now, and that's really what struck a chord in me about this book. John talks about the fact that there is a evil entity that has hijacked its way into this world, and he refers to this entity as the Archon. The Gnostics might refer to this deity or this entity as cosmic creator, or the Greeks would refer to it as cosmic creator. The Gnostics would most likely refer to it as the demiurge or Yaldabaoth. But John teaches you that there is a predatory alien force in this world that is feeding on human energy, and that the feeding process is diminishing your energetic levels and causing you to basically, in a nutshell, experience accelerated entropy, accelerated aging, a decay of your true potential. It's separating you from your highest energetic self. So this is really something that I've been teaching for years, and that, again, was one of the things that I found so interesting about Crider's work, was that he was talking about the Archon. So I don't want to get too detailed into it. I want you to buy the book, but he talks about how there is a predatory force in this world that is feeding on basically distilled human energy that we emanate out of our body. John then proceeds to teach you how to stop leaking energy out of your energy body so that you can contain it within your aura and then reintegrate that energy back into your system. This book is basically teaching you how to work with energy. It also goes through a process of teaching you how to pull energy out of things around you. I refer to this as elemental vampirism. When you pull energy, for instance, out of trees, out of water, out of the elements around you. So this is something that I've been talking about for years as well, elemental vampirism. We experience this to some extent when we ground ourselves on the earth. Whenever we pull energy out of something, we are in a sense feeding on it. This energy sustains our well-being. It sustains our metabolic processes, our physiological functions. So it is like a fuel source. Elemental vampirism. We experience this to a large extent when we eat food, when we digest the minerals and the nutrients out of food. But John goes on to beautifully teach you how to pull energy out of the air, out of the world around you. He also teaches you how to patch the holes in your energetic field, and he also teaches you how to hold on to your energy so that you can store energy and then use it for your alchemical processes. And this is one of the experiments or endeavors, the great work, the magnum opus, etc. So this is one of the most interesting things that I found about John's work, is he was talking about the importance of reaccumulating energy so that you can store it and then use it for your magic, use it for your alchemy, use it to elongate your life. This is something that is rarely talked about in the esoteric and occult community, the alchemical community. Spell books and magical books teach you to use all this energy to do all these different things and all these visualizations and pentagram rituals, and they teach you to do all this mental work, but they never teach you the importance of reabsorbing energy after you go through those lengthy processes, those exhaustive processes of doing all that work. Focus and attention takes a decent amount of energy, and when you're trying to do magical work or alchemical work, you have to have a reservoir of energy to tap into, and that's one of the beautiful things about this book. It's just a masterpiece that teaches you how to absorb energy, hold on to it, patch the holes in your energetic field so you stop losing energy, and then teaches you how to use that energy once you've stored it. Now, there's so many other things that I could say about this book, but I want to keep this under 10 minutes, and I really want you to go out and buy this book. It's like $5.99 for an e-copy, and I think $12.99 for the physical copy. I bought both. But John goes on to teach you how your belief systems have basically created your reality, and how most of the information that we have used to define our reality didn't come from personal experience. We accept information and factoids from the outside world that is ran by, in my opinion, psychopaths. So we take all of this data from the world around us at a young age, and we construct these beliefs about how to view ourselves in the world. And as we've talked about in prior videos, especially on magic, beliefs are one of the languages of the subconscious mind. So is symbolism. So anytime you believe something with every fiber of your being, you instruct your awareness, like looking through a telescope, to view the world that way. I hope that makes sense. It's a very complicated subject, and I could go on for hours talking about it, but we're going to try to keep this under 10 minutes. John teaches you that the world that you live in is a modified world based on all of the information that's been handed down to you, basically, that you've turned into your reality. He also goes on to teach you that there is a predatory alien force here that is feeding on humanity as a fuel source. Kind of like, he basically, in a nutshell, says something that we've been saying here on this channel all along, that humanity, or Earth, is a energy farm from the Archons. Now, if you read some of Carlos Castaneda's books, I believe one of the books where he talks about this extensively is called The Eagle's Gift. It might not be called that. It's been a while since I've read through those books. Don Juan Matus, the Yaqui Indian sorcerer, throughout Carlos's books, goes on to teach Carlos that there is a vast world around us that we can no longer see because of our programmed perception. And programmed perception is something that John teaches as well in this book, and he teaches you how to expand your perception to get out of your perceptual prison. But Carlos goes on to learn from Don Juan Matus. I believe Don Juan is teaching Carlos. It might have been another sorcerer or brujo. Again, it's been a long time since I've read that book, but he goes on to teach Carlos that there is a vast world outside of our perceptual prison that we can no longer experience and see. And this is largely due to our senses not being able to see the entire scope or interact with the entire scope of the electromagnetic spectrum. We exist in a very, very small band of the whole electromagnetic spectrum, or our perception does. But long story short, there are specific entities that exist outside of our perceptual, limits that feed on us. We can't see them. We don't even know they're there. And we are fed on by these entities. So the world that you live in is a modified world that you've been programmed to believe is like the concrete world. You think that the way things are, you believe that the way that things are presented to you, that's the real world. No, ladies and gentlemen, we live in a predatory ecosystem. And a lot of the stuff feeding on us and hunting us is outside of our perceptual limits. We don't know how to experience or see it or sense it anymore. So John teaches you how to get your energy back, get your power back, hold on to it, patch the holes in your energy field so you stop bleeding out all of your energy. And then he teaches you how to use that stored energy to reclaim your power and to live the life that you want and to fight back against the system. This is a unique, one-of-a-kind, beautiful gem of a book. I give it a 10 out of 10. If I could give it a 1,000 out of 10, I would. This is the greatest book on alchemy that there is, at least as a starting point. But after you read this book and apply it, you should read Magnum Opus, his other book, and then his book, The Way of the Perfectionist. But this book alone, even if you just got this one book, you could do stuff with this beyond your wildest dreams. So I'm going to continue reviewing his books. They're beautiful. They're well written. They make you, each passage makes you thirsty for the next passage. And I love that, especially in a modern writer, where so many of the modern writers are just full of crap, just regurgitating copy and paste style stuff. This is a unique breath of fresh air that can really help you reclaim your power. So again, I'm going to keep this under 10 minutes. There's so much more that could be said about this book. Just read it, just read it, just read it. Stop questioning whether you should buy it. Just buy it, and also buy Vampire's Way, his other book, the Psychic Self-Defense book that we reviewed a couple of days ago. Peace be with you.